So Sam found a possible bear track. Would you point it out? Ooh.
Claws.
Hello, this is Squatch Mom, and we are finally going on our first camping trip. I tell you, we have been through the ringer, and I will explain more as this episode goes on, as our expedition goes on. But let me just say at first that I in particular, have faced the biggest monster that there really is, and so kind of reeling from it. I have a lot of healing to do, but that's why we've got to get up into the mountains and enjoy some time off. And so we're going to our favorite place over near Palmer Lake, or 10 miles west of Palmer Lake. So that's the plan, and as usual, we will see what happens. Oh, and also, we could really use your support. If you like this video, if you like this channel, please check out our Patreon. We have several levels from free to higher tiers that get more stuff. So check it out. All right, we'll see what happens. So we are at our favorite camping spot, my favorite anyway. It's 10 miles west as a crow flies from Palmer Lake off of Rampart Range Road. The guys are setting up the camper. It's a little frightening coming up because the I don't know what you call it. It was too hot, and we need to have some coolant pipes fixed. It's a little scary. Now I got to do the Caspian dance. But yeah, that reminds me, I didn't say who was here. Obviously, Travis and Sam over there dealing with unhitching the camper. And then, of course, Caspian, who is very excited and is also being very naughty, would not come when I told him to, so he's on a leash. So anyway, it's just bittersweet being here. I'm in terrible shape. Destroyed my body these last 2 weeks, and I'll tell you why and how in a bit. But it's good to be back in these woods where so many things have happened, including last fall, Sam and I being chased out by something that was howling down that way. But we will see what happens. We just really, really need this break. Okay, so we have made the beds. I had a little snack. Now, earlier, Caspian heard something over here. So Sam thought he might have seen something, but don't know what it was. And of course, we're going in this direction. Because, as I said before, what am I afraid of now? I face the worst monster there is. So, well, we'll see. I'll be quiet, see what happens. Thought I heard something. In the summer is not a good idea. I'm being assaulted by bugs. Yes, they like the light. The dog is kicking dirt at me. So we walk down the road and there are no campers anywhere. And the first time we were having a picnic around here, we were hearing some interesting possible chatter, and then Sam heard something down in that draw, and he thought that it was possibly a sentinel. And that, whoa, I hope that was Sam. And that really was a turning point for me. I think that's when I started to love night expeditions. As I realized there was a whole lot scarier things out there than possible Bigfoot. Yeah, he's ringing a bell. Yep, this is where you heard something.
You're a tree quaking.
Oh, that was you? I thought I heard a tree knock, but that was you. Then another time, Sam saw something in this part, and we know that there was a deer, because in the video that I took, you could see eye shine of a deer running away, but Sam isn't sure that the deer is what he actually saw. It sure is spooky at night. And then, of course, it doesn't help with Sam talking about brown arms that can grab dogs. Thanks, buddy. I know. We have to be vigilant because so much of Colorado is on fire. In fact, one of our favorite places near Beulah, Pueblo Mountain Park, the buildings burned down and probably the trees burned down. The trail that we like to go to, very sad about that. So there's a burn ban, no target shooting, and I take that very seriously. So we won't be having any campfires this time. Hello, it is Monday morning, and I slept on and off okay. I'm surprised that my back isn't that bad, so I'm glad about that. But it seems a little eerie here, like there's nothing, there's no noise, no gunshots, which there usually are. But then this is Monday after the 4th of July, But it is a little hazy. Travis smelled smoke, so that makes it a bit spooky. Anyway, I'm just gonna take a little walk down to my favorite places over here and stretch my legs before breakfast. This is one of my favorite places down here. So this is where Sam and I started a campfire last fall, and we heard a bunch of howling sounds that way, and they were getting closer and closer. So we quickly put out the fire and went back to our campsite, which is that way. That was really, really exciting. So I think I'm gonna go sit on a rock over there. This is where Sam might have heard children playing. A few years ago, he had the amplification headphones on, and he heard children playing, and it came from this direction. So it very well could have been this. And then we saw footprints, little footprints on that hill. All those episodes you can find. I'll try to put them below. But yeah, this is just one of my favorite places. Now I better look for the dog. So we've had our breakfast, drank coffee, took some acetaminophen, and now Sam, Caspian, and I are going down to where I was before. We keep hearing voices that way, but we have noticed there are several more people here, heard motorcycles, saw a truck camper go by on the road. This guy has been having fun chasing chipmunks, but what he'd do if he caught one, I don't know. But this has felt good, just to sit around in the camp chairs. I've been thinking a lot about something, which I guess I'll start explaining as I go down the hill, and I'll just explain it a little bit at a time. So on April 20th was my dad's birthday, and he was sick, and I thought it was the flu at the time, and I just thought he was going to get better. And then it turned out that he had a blockage in his kidneys, and they were at a very severe number, like 4.5. The number that is supposed to be functioning is 1. So this is how this whole thing began. And that's about all I could tell right now. Just got to take this slowly. But we're going down the same trail that I've been down before many, many, many times. I just love this area. So the question is, did we hear the voices from over the ridge, over this ridge that you can't really see? There's some camping places, and beyond there's another big valley beyond this ridge, a very big one with a creek. And then there's another ridge on that side of the valley and more camping spots on the other side. Did we hear the voices clear from there? Or were they closer? Were they over here? That's a mystery that we just don't know. And Sam is looking for Caspian, who's having a grand time. He'd rather be out walking in the woods than us sitting around on the camp chairs. So while he's getting him, let me just continue the story. So my dad went to the hospital, and like I said, they found out his kidneys were blocked, and he got some tubes, I cannot say that word, tubes on his outer back to drain the kidneys. While I'm waiting for Sam and Caspian, let me just tell the next part of the story as I can remember it. But at some point, my sister-in-law and brother realized that my parents were not well and they needed help, so they brought them to their house in Castle Rock. And my dad went into the hospital, and at the same time, well, my mother dropped him off, and she drove the car, and I noticed, I was looking on 360, that her car keys were at a really strange place, like I-25 and Colorado Boulevard, which is kind of south of downtown Denver. I'm like, what is she doing there? And so I called my sister-in-law, and she says, yeah, Dad called and Mom's lost. So my brother goes and rescues her, but it turns out that somebody found her and got an ambulance, and she went to another hospital, and she was very, very confused. Sadly, she has dementia. So there was that drama. So then my dad went back to Darren and Randy's with a catheter, and he struggled with that pain for a while. So that is what happened in late April, early May. So now we're going through these thick woods, and of course I'm not wearing my hiking shoes, just some sort of like hiking sandals. But as usual, we're just exploring. That's what we do. Now we're going back, and normally we go back and forth over that way, but now we're coming back this way, and of course I see a stick break, but we probably already had found it. And I think maybe this is a twist. Oh, there's a twist. We're standing here and we're hearing some odd sounds, but considering we've seen humans, heard motorcycles, it could be humans. And here we have bear spore. Kind of flattened. There's something stepped on it. That's definitely bear spore. Those are really cool rocks over there. Sometime it would be nice to explore that. I could see something hiding out there, especially a cougar. That would be the scariest thing of all. But there are some scary things beyond cougars and even Bigfoot. And so the next thing that happened was Mother's Day. It was an awful day, I'll tell you. My dad was in pain from the catheter, and my mother was not acting well. I won't get into it, but it was very unpleasant. And my sister was due to come in and surprise my mother for Mother's Day, and I did all I could to get her ready, which was tough, but we did, and she came. And so, but my dad was in pain all day, and then we went home. So Sam found a possible bear track. Would you point it out? Ooh.
claws.
And there's a whole bunch of turf disturbed around here. Yeah. So, you know, I just saw the bear spoor, so very well could be. And Sam leaves me to go find the dog. Okay then. Well, I guess yeah, there's a bunch of turf all messed up around here. Okay. Well, anyway, bears aren't as scary as what I faced. So, Mother's Day, yeah, that passed. We went home. And then that Tuesday, I get a call or a text or something from my sister saying that my sister was talking to my dad about the necessity of moving to an assisted living place, which my brother and his wife and even my mother had toured while I was in the hospital, because they were living in an independent living place way west near Morrison. And it was getting really, really hard for the family to monitor what was going on. And so what happened was my mother got upset when my sister was talking about it, and she appeared to have a stroke. So my sister took her to one of those urgent cares. They said she had to go to the hospital. And my dad went to, my brother and his wife took my dad to the doctors to see if there was any improvement with the kidneys. They all, went off in separate directions, and it was very, very traumatic. Very hard day. And then, so it may have been shortly after that, hearing the news about my dad's kidneys, and that it was a result of the prostate cancer that he had a few years ago, and what my dad described as a radar gun that they used to get rid of the cancer. It actually resulted in his kidneys blocked. So that was a disaster of a day, and it wasn't long after that I can remember that I realized that my dad only had a year, and that was a stunning, horrifying thought. Look at the wildflower, so pretty. So I'm almost to the campsite. So while I walk up there, I'll tell you, I guess I'm telling this story because it helps me process it. At some point, my parents went back to their apartment at Sky Point, the retirement home they lived in. And my mother was not doing well. My dad was not doing well. And not long after that, he went back to the hospital. So I had a lot of trips planned up in the Littleton area. Anyway. Ooh. It's just... So on one of those trips, I don't even remember, it's just a blur, I went to visit him in the hospital, and Darren and his wife were there. Darren and Randy had done a lot of caring for my father, and so had their son Tom. Tom had a very special connection with his grandfather, because when Tom was born, my father took care of him a lot and really got close to Tom. That was 24 years ago. So anyway, we visited him in the hospital, and wow, he got the palliative nurse to sit with us And he explained that he had a DNR order. He did not want to be resuscitated in case of a heart attack. And the nurse explained that, yeah, resuscitations are violent. They usually end up in cracking ribs and all sorts of things. We talked about that. And then he talked about how he wanted his ashes spread in 3 places. Fort Logan, which is a cemetery in Denver, Sheridan, Denver, and at his old home place that we call the ranch, where my niece now lives with her kids and her husband, and then over the Wind River Mountains. And I'm listening to this thinking, oh, the time isn't yet. It's not yet. And I'm also thinking about all the projects that I wanted to do, that I had tried, and for one reason or another, either procrastinated or I had extreme stress and blockages, combination of both. I wanted to get these old 8mm movie reels done. So I did manage to find the ones I had, and my brother Darren bought a converter, and he converted them, and I wanted to show them to my father for Father's Day. I knew that would bring him so much joy. And then I was working on a book, still working on it, called I Don't Live Anywhere. I Live in a Big Red Camper. That was about my childhood, traveling around the country in a Red Tail camper, which is why I have a Red Tail camper these days. So I felt like I was racing time. I also wanted to record all my dad's stories, and I'd only gotten so far. But yet my dad was too weak to do any more talking. So I was racing time. Father's Day was looming. I had no idea what was ahead. So we've had our lunch. Travis has had his nap. I had my quiet time. I sang songs. And when we were sitting out there, Sam and I, he kept hearing some voices. We don't know. But with humans, I have an experiment in mind. I'll tell you later. But right now, we are going up to another campsite that we saw that has some really cool rocks. We can't handle very much. So Travis is carrying my backpack, so I don't have to. And we're just gonna trudge along. So we came down this road, or we're going up this road, or whatever you want to say. We've been on it before. And over here is a really nice aspen grove. We came from there. We're going to keep going down there. And maybe find somewhere to sit soon. I don't know, but going up that road was hard work. Sam and I are in really bad shape. So Travis is the one who is in the best shape, he swims twice, 2 to 3 times a week, and he's lost a bunch of weight, drinking lemon lime water of all things. Okay, well, it looks like we're gonna have a break. So we're at this campsite where we've been to before. They didn't camp here, but anyway, seems like there was some sticks over there last time. But there's a fire ring there. Sam has gone over there to explore the rocks. Big rocks over there. I don't know, this would be a really, really interesting place to camp. Probably have to tent camp. But if our truck was working properly, we'd drive over here. But we really need to be careful. So anyway, oh, there Sam is. He's coming over that way. Well, we'll just see what happens. So we had a little snack break and a wee break, and now we're heading across the valley or through the valley or over the valley or whatever, cutting across to reach our campsite. Sam, who always has a map on hand, will guide us. So we will see what happens. So we're going down this hill. Sam says the campground isn't far. However, I'm thinking about shortcuts, and sometimes shortcuts are not shortcuts, they're long cuts. Anyway, I found a tree break right there. It kind of looks twisted. We'll see. And there is a tree bow. There's some more over there too. I am looking at some more bear spore that I just passed. But all down this valley, we have termed it the Bigfoot's playground. There's another one right there. It just seems like something has been down here doing this. And we call it that because a long time ago Sam heard some children giggling and laughing through his amplification headphones late at night, on a cold night, no less. So that's why we call it the playground. So Sam, as usual, is right. We came from over there. This is the valley where Sam may have heard those children, Bigfoot children possible, laughing and giggling, and this is our spot. This is the brow overlooking the little aspen valley that runs through this. There's the root ball next to the tree that I usually sit on, and that way is our campsite. So Sam did a good job. Caspian is having fun in the little shelter. He has made himself at home. So Sam and I are having fun with a Sasquatch outpost slingshot, and he's throwing pine cones and pebbles. Go ahead. Well, that didn't do very much. Yeah, we have had a couple of cool ricochets. I even hit a tree once.
Oh, there it was.
Oh, pretty cool. It's Tuesday morning, and we have had our breakfast. It was quite yummy, actually. Bacon, eggs with cheese, and bagel, cream cheese, jelly, some berries, and some yogurt. So last night Sam and I walked around. We walked around the camp here, and then we walked down the road and back. Didn't hear anything really. So we've decided that we're gonna leave tonight after dinner. Best to go home to try to get back our lives, rebuild our lives after what has been happening. And I'll just explain it a little more as the day goes on. But so back to the story of what's been going on with my dad. Back in late April or May, realizing that my dad has some serious health problems and he probably had a year to live. And that was just horrifying to me. And I guess I was spoiled by my grandmother, his mom, who lived till the day before her 101st birthday. And so I thought, that I had years. And that was tough to grapple with. That is a monster that on this side of heaven, on earth, you just can't win. So I remember at some point Sam and I went back to our place in Divide that we had some interesting things happen, and I said, all right, Bigfoot, I'm not afraid of you. Got a fly on my finger. I'm not afraid of you. I'm having some really difficult times with my mom and dad, because this whole time my mom, her health wasn't good. She wasn't good at all, and it was really, really, between both of them, it was just full of drama and crisis. So we went out to the woods, and I'm like, come on, Bigfoot, show yourself, please. But of course, nothing happened. And but at some point, Travis and I went up to relieve my brother and his wife. They went up to their son's graduation in Greeley.
That was Memorial Weekend.
That was Memorial Weekend?
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm completely losing my sense of time.
And that's when he left the hospital.
Well, right. So Travis and I went. We picked my dad at the hospital, of course, after a frantic call from my mother. And so we're sitting with him in the hospital as he's getting, he's saying to the nurses, I'm leaving. I will rip out the IV if I have to. I have a frail wife at home, and I need to get home to her. And that's all he could think about. And one other thing, this is such a blur to me. I must have visited him in the hospital one other time, maybe with Randy, my brother's wife, and I gave him a hug goodbye. I mean, no. Well, I did give him a hug goodbye at that point and said I loved him. And of course, my dad, he never says I love you. He's just like, He did that to everyone, except for my mother. So anyway, so we went up there Memorial Weekend, like Travis said, and took him home. I think we visited several times. Somehow my nephew Tom was there helping. We had amazing talks. He's such an amazing young man, and Tom helped so well with both my mom and dad. So that is all I can remember about Memorial Weekend. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting? It's just such a blur.
I don't think so. We just had to give Darren some relief.
Yeah. Then I told Darren and Randy, don't come home for dinner. Just, get some time away. So they did.
And that was Tom's graduation.
Yes. On Memorial Weekend?
Well...
Yeah, see, this is where the time gets all fuzzy. So anyway, those are some of the things that happened, and I'll continue the story as we go on during the day. So now we're going to try a little experiment. So yesterday, Sam and I kept hearing some things, some voices from down there, and we couldn't figure out how we could be hearing human voices because the campgrounds are a lot further away. So we're doing an experiment. Sam is going to stay right there. Who knows if the dog is going to come or not. And Travis and I are going to walk down this gully. And every once in a while, we're going to radio into Sam. And we're going to do some soft, medium, and loud speaking and see what he hears. So that is the experiment. Do you have anything to add? All right, here we go. Oh, and I am well equipped with binoculars, backpack, walkie-talkie, all of it.
I
Got the extra phone too, because boy, it's hard to keep the battery going. So now we are going down this gully, and at certain points we're going to stop, radio in, and then do this experiment all the way to what we call the playground. And and the dog is a mess. Oh joy, good thing we're leaving today. Squatch Mom, just Squatch Sam.
Go ahead.
We are at the first set of rocks in between them, so we're going to commence with the low talk. Copy?
The dog has come back to me, by the way.
Yes, let's not talk about him right now. Are you ready?
Yes.
Here goes. So, what do you think about, I don't know, do you think it's going to rain today?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. Think it'll rain when we go home?
I guess it's kind of spotty. I guess scattered showers
Okay.
here and there, hit and miss,
All
probably.
right. Mm-hmm.
Probably
You know
goes
what
on.
we're going to have to do when we get home? I see a dog washing in the future. Okay, so we talk softly. Did you hear anything?
No.
Interesting. All right, now we're going to do medium, so listen up. So it could actually rain while we're here.
Yes, it could rain. Could rain. It could happen.
Yep. But I guess that will be all right.
Well, that will definitely help.
We definitely have hats on.
We have hats.
Yes. So we will see. And the dog has gone back to Sam.
The dog has gone back. I seest not.
Okay, so that was medium. Did you hear anything?
Yes, I heard a little bit.
Was it kind of indistinguishable?
Yeah, and it was coming from around the rock to my left.
Okay, strange. All right, well, now we're going to do the loud. Okay? Here we go. Sure is nice to get away,
Yes, it is.
even if we have stinky dogs.
Yeah, stinky dogs.
But at least we managed to do it.
Yes, we did it.
So, we'll go on after this.
We'll go on after this.
So what was that like?
I could hear it, I could hear the words, but it's still kind of going up the draw, and I can hear it in my left ear more than it's not coming straight at me.
Your left ear is facing us, right?
Well, I assume I'm facing you, but
Yeah.
the sound is going up the draw.
The draw where we are, not up the rocks.
It's not coming straight at me, it's going up.
And
The
around.
sound is going around me.
So it's going around the rocks.
Yes.
Interesting. All right, we're going to go down to the next point. Now, this is interesting. There appears to be a footprint here and something here. Now, if I go up next to this, it's pretty small. It's probably smaller than mine, or about the same size. But I did want to know if there are any footprints around here. So, interesting. Okay, so now we're going to go down that way and do the second one. So we've gone to the next set of rocks, and I am seeing the same size print. In fact, there's a whole trackway. I don't know if it's going up, but it goes all the way down through there. So that is very interesting. And again, it's very small, but I almost could possibly see toes, but that's hard to tell. But that is really interesting, and considering that Sam possibly heard some juvenile Sasquatch down that way, then it kind of makes sense. Maybe what we heard was the junior Sasquatches tricking us. It could be. They, according to Jim Myers of Sasquatch Outpost, they do like to play tricks. All right, we're going to head down there, and then our last stop will be the actual playground down there. Let's Squatch Mom to Squatch Sam. I'm playing Dr. Mariah Mayer. What can I say? Okay, so now we're down from where that toilet seat was. And along the way, we have seen small footprints. In fact, a whole trackway. So that's very interesting.
Did you take pictures of them?
I took a video, yes.
What do they look like?
They're a little smaller than mine.
I mean, do they have toes or anything?
I couldn't really tell in the pine needles, but maybe. Thought I just heard something. Okay, we're going to do our experiment now. We're going with the low volume. 3, 2, 1. So, what do you think of that trackway?
Well, it's hard for me to guess what it is, but
Could you see any toes?
no, I couldn't see toes, but you looked closer probably than I did.
Yeah, but the thing is that our feet barely make an impression.
Right.
So that's what makes it really interesting.
Yes,
Those are deeper.
It's interesting, and they go deeper.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Medium.
Okay, so we did it. Did you hear anything?
No.
Okay, now we're going to do medium. I don't know what to talk about.
So now we are medium mode.
We are in medium mode.
So we'll see how the sound goes around and up and around, all around, and where.
Yes, and I'll face that way. I forgot to do that.
And I'm
Face
facing
down.
that way now.
Yeah.
So this is our medium mode.
But it's interesting to think that a junior Sasquatch was there making sounds. That's an interesting theory. Can't prove it.
Well, the theories are interesting.
It is. All right. Did you hear anything?
No.
Okay, that's very interesting. Now we're going to do the loud one. Here we go. So he didn't hear the soft or the medium from down here.
So we'll go to loud mode.
Right? We're in loud mode. But he heard the medium when we were just up that way.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now but he didn't, now he'll see if he can hear
Yeah,
the
now let's
loud
see if he hears
now.
This loud from here.
This loud from here.
Yeah, so if Sam can hear us, we will find out right now. Squatch Mom to Squatch Sam.
Very quiet.
So you heard it, but it was very quiet.
Just quieter than all the other things we've heard before.
So that's really interesting. So the highest volume, I probably could speak louder. Shall I try a really loud one?
Say like, I don't know, what did you say?
That's the problem, is coming up with things to say.
Just think of something.
I'll think of something.
Okay.
Here, Sasquatch! Come, Sasquatch! We want to see you, Sasquatch, from a distance, Sasquatch!
This is a test. This is a
only
test.
test.
This is only a test.
Did you hear that?
Might have heard Sasquatch.
Yes, I said Sasquatch a lot. But still, compared to what we heard yesterday, what was it like?
I don't know. It's louder, but not like yelling.
Well, I was yelling at the top of my lungs.
I'm saying it was louder, but I don't think it was yelling.
But wait, you mean what we heard yesterday?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, now we're going to the valley, so now you'll need the amplification headphones. So here is a tree snap, and that is just down from that where we just were. So we are gonna go down that way, do one more call, and then go back to the campsite, and I'm gonna rest and we're gonna eat lunch. Here we go. Another interesting tree bend. And we came up there. It's quite the jungle. We're going down there and a little bit to the right. And then we'll do our final set of calls. Now we are in the little valley, which is what we call the playground. There's funny things happening like that. But I just saw a possible footprint right here. I almost stepped on it. And again, it's about my size, about the same size as the others that we've seen. So we're gonna go up here a little ways and do our final set of calls. Squatch Mom to Squatch Sam. Squatch Mom to Squatch Sam. Is there too much interference down in this hill?
Maybe.
What channel
too
did he
far.
say it was on?
I do not know.
I didn't switch it, did I?
I don't think you did, but I...
No. Squatch Mom to Squatch Sam. I think there's too much interference.
Or you're too far away and down the hill.
Which is interesting in itself. So let's just keep talking low.
Talk low.
Like
We'll
this.
talk low, and we think we're doing too much down the hill. And then it's just kind of, you don't have, it's farther away, and you've got the, and not in a line of sight.
Right.
Talk
There's
low.
that hill in the way.
Probably. It's probably.
That's probably it.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, now let's do medium. So, a few years ago, we found little footprints on the hill up there. You could pan it to that hill. So, and that was the day after Sam heard children laughing and giggling at 11 o'clock at night, and I heard vocalizations too. But Sam had amplification headphones on. So, okay, now let's do loud.
Let's do loud.
Okay,
We're gonna do it
in
loud.
the playground, Sam.
Loud in the playground.
The walkie-talkies don't work. Can you hear us? We'll find out when we get there.
Can you hear? Well, walkie-talkie doesn't work.
Can you hear me? I'm yelling at the top of my lungs.
Woo!
Good one.
Woo! Woo!
Ready? Okay.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Can I do it? I didn't know you had it in you. All right. I had another drink of water. And then I'll do it a couple more times. This feels good. For everything I've been through. Which I'll continue the story after we go up.
This is still on.
That's fine. I expected it to be. All right. Here we go. And that was the second place winner, although from people tell me it should have been first. But whatever. At least I got a trophy. One of the very few trophies I ever got in my life. All right, so we are going to go back up the easier way, not go trudging through that again, and see, once we get past this hill, then we can check in with Sam and see if he heard anything. But this should be really interesting for our experiment. All right, let's go. So this area is what we call the playground because there's so many bow trees, as if the junior Sasquatch practiced with those aspens, bringing them down. It's very interesting. Do Here, I'm almost thinking I want to go that way. Less objects, so, and besides, that's where we saw the footprints. This is gonna take me some time because I'm very, very tired and hot. So I see another footprint. Now, Travis, if you bend down, right, I'll point it to you. If I could get my stick out from near my arm. I want you to look. Let me, right here. I want you to look closely to see if you see any toe indentations. I can't lean down that low. It's too hard to see?
Yeah, too hard to see.
Well, anyway, there's some more up here, and this hillside is where we found footprints. So, and Sam freaked out because I guess I had changed the channel accidentally. And he came down. All of a sudden, we hear him calling from over there. Freaked me out. He was freaked out. He thought we were a missing 411 case. So, but he did not hear any of the talking. He did hear the howls. So I think that determines that regular human voices. Oh, look, here's something else. That may be undulant, I don't know. But I think we've determined that regular human voices can't be heard from down there. So, but I messed up. I'm not very good with these gizmos. Sam is the expert. But now I need to get to my favorite tree limb and sit down and rest. So we're resting near the root ball, overlooking the valley where we just were, the playground as we call it. And now it's easy to get back from here. But boy, am I hungry. Anyway, I just thought I'd try to pick up where I left off. Don't even know. So we were at Memorial Day weekend, where we stayed the whole weekend. At one point, I saw my dad in the hospital with my sister-in-law, Randy. And when I said goodbye, I said, "I love you." He said, tapped my hand. And then I gave him a little hug as best I could. It felt a little awkward. And then Travis and I picked him up. We took him home. That was the Memorial weekend. And then I'm trying to remember what all happened from there. It's just an absolute blur. So my dad just continued to not do better, although his kidney numbers kept going down, but he wasn't feeling any better. And then, oh my gosh, what happened?
It was suspected it was the cancer.
Yes, then he had a high PSA level, and he felt like his prostate cancer came back. And so I had to go up there
On the 16th.
I went up there on the 16th, but it feels like I'm missing 2 weeks. I have no idea. It's just such a blur. But I went up there for a luncheon for homeschooling, and I stayed at my brother's house the night before, and after the luncheon, I got a text from my brother Darren saying that Dad was getting out of the hospital, so to meet them at the apartment. So I went there, and he was just so weak. And my mom was freaking out, and that wasn't good. And we got them settled as best we could. So then I went back to Darren and Randy's house, and I was going to go home. My mom called Darren, and it was, she was freaking out, and it was really bad. And so I ended up staying the night again and went home the next day in the early afternoon. And so that's where I'm going to leave it, because we're getting to around what we're at the 15th. So I'm going to now my next video explain what happened on the 16th. Here's another possible track, and I have seen these before, but I didn't really think much of it. But after I've seen the others, it makes me interested. So it goes actually all the way. Now, could it have been an ungulate that skidded? Possibly. But what's interesting to me is that Travis and I can't make any impressions in these pine needles. And because they're about the same size of what I saw before, I find that intriguing. And it could go all the way. But see, that looks more like an ungulate hoof. And then, of course, Sam saw a possible grizzly track down there a little bit. But this turf seemed disturbed. Something went through here all the way. And again, Travis and I don't make any tracks. But don't know. Oh, and then there's this. I don't know. Could be an ungulate. Could be a bear. Could be a small Sasquatch. We won't know. It is too vague to determine. Okay, we're back. Thank goodness. And it's raining a little bit, but that's okay. Feels good. So I have Sam here and Travis. And I thought we could talk about what happened. So summarize what you heard. Maybe you don't want to be on film. I don't know. Well, the whole thing. What were your impressions?
I don't think it's possible we could hear someone from way over there.
Way over there. We know there are people there.
Maybe this can kind of sound could probably channel it from here, where that big field is. You know,
the big valley with the
there's
creek.
a big field and there's a marshy area.
Yeah.
But we've been hearing things. If it were there's a camp spot way over there. That's in the valley.
Yeah.
It's too far and there's too much in the way that you could hear it like that.
Yeah, we heard them really softly just from where we were over there yesterday.
So maybe people were on the road over there and were talking, or at the campsite over there.
On the road over there?
If not...
But you could barely hear us from the furthest sound, from the furthest place away, from the valley. I mean, not the valley, the playground. You couldn't hear us. Maybe like when we did the loudest, but you definitely heard the howls. Did you hear Dad whoop? Yeah, but you knew that was us. So, our conclusion is that...
Strange.
And the thing is, I saw a lot of footprints. And they were smallish, like what we'd found before.
They were deep.
They were deep, yes. We don't make those kind of impressions. And they were definitely some kind of foot. Now, some of them, like over back there, it's hard to tell. It could have been an ungulate, could have been a bear. But where we were, we definitely saw footprints. So our conclusion is, well, of course we can't prove that it was a Bigfoot, but we know it wasn't the people way over there. It's very doubtful that it was people in the valley, in my way of thinking. What do you think? You couldn't hear it in a normal voice in the playground. And the valley is beyond that, and there's ridges in between. So I would say it's plausible, but not provable, I guess is what I would say. But it was a fun experiment. I had a lot of fun. Kind of felt like I was playing Dr. Mariah Mayer, one of my heroines. But and I haven't had a lot of fun in a long time. So this is good. All right, well, I think that we're gonna relax a little bit and then have lunch, and then we have an entirely different problem, and that would be a dog we don't want to talk about. Okay, well, we'll be back later. So after we were sitting there, it was apparent that there is disaster, and the disaster's name is Caspian, and it's on his hind end, and it's really bad. We tried and tried and tried to clean it up. You can probably see it right now, but it didn't work. A long time ago, Caspian was attacked by a pit bull in the neighborhood on our own property, and then he had to have some major work done on him, and it traumatized him. He's never been the same. So here we are. Sam and I managed to try to end this on a positive note. So we're going to do a little hiking. Travis is at the camper getting ready to go. But I have to finish this tale because, you know, we're out here looking for what many people view as a monster, but there are many worse monsters than the one that's supposedly out in the woods. And I came too personal with this monster. So I said that we took him home to the hospital, and then my sister was planning on coming up on Monday and being there on Tuesday to help my parents, but she had a migraine, so she had to delay it. In the meantime, my brother Darren got sick, so he couldn't go flying. He's a United Airline pilot. So, come on, buddy. Oh, and Sam has something for me to see. So we will interrupt this story. Yeah, I've been seeing those kinds of things all over. I'm not gonna... Yeah, I'm seeing that all over the place. So anyway, so my sister asked me to go to my parents on Tuesday, but we had all sorts of things going on Tuesday. Travis and I had a business meeting, and then in the morning, and then I trotted up there to Littleton Tuesday afternoon, and Tom was there, my nephew, and my dad was shaking, and he wasn't eating. He had been eating all this time because he was nauseous and he was weak. Couldn't tell. We couldn't find the thermometer, and he was cold. Oh, we found another one.
Two choices.
Two what?
Two choices.
Two what?
Choices.
Choices?
What
What
are
are the
they?
choices? Does that
Bear
look like toes? Oh,
or
claws? A double step?
maybe.
Or, ow, that hurt. So anyway, Tom and I tried to feed him. I suggested glucose tablets. He stopped shaking. And we both felt so helpless. And I just rubbed his back and I prayed in tongues. And then I went home. And I tried to get back into my life as much as I could, because all this time we were barely getting any work done. Travis was trying to work as much as he could, but I couldn't hardly get any work done. So I am trying to follow up with this gentleman we'd met with before, the day before, and while I was doing that, I received a text. It was from my sister, and it said, "Dad passed away." And I screamed. I screamed, and I screamed, and Sam happened to be in the bathroom, which is on the same floor, and he kind of guessed what was going on. Travis heard it. I screamed, and I paced, and I fell to the floor, and I cried. I think I mostly screamed, because that was such a shock. And my sister, I mean, that must have been a shock for her to be around that. And what happened was, she told me later that when she drove up on Tuesday from Albuquerque, she prayed that if God was going to take him soon, that it would happen while she was there. And she didn't. They had made a reservation or whatever, down payment on an assisted living place, and my sister just didn't feel like that was going to happen. And so she prayed, and that day Tom was helping him bathe himself in the bathroom to give him some dignity, and my dad just died in his arms. The baby that Tom used to be the baby that my dad took care of. So it was kind of poetic justice, or poetic, not poetic justice, but poetic, as my sister-in-law, Randy, his mom said. And there is a sick brick. So there's more to tell, but I'll take a break. So now we've come to another campsite. We've had picnics here. We tent camped here once. In fact, my brother had to rescue us because our truck ran out of battery. But yeah, so we're gonna sit here for a minute and try to relax. Okay, so we sat down over there, and there's a cool little shelter over there with a table. But we're gonna go down this trail. This is the Twisted Tree Trail, that's what I'd call it. But so my sister, the reason why she texted me was because she wanted to know if I wanted to come up and see Dad before they took him away to be cremated. I'm like, no, I saw him the day before. I do not want to see a dead body. It's not him anyway. He's gone. So after I got that text, I called my pastor's wife, and crying, I told her what happened, and she came over and she sat with me. And of course, in the middle of that, some solicitor came. Used to be a Royal Crest person, and Schwann's person. It's like, what timing? That was weird. But anyway, so after that, Diana called people instead of texted. Oh, gosh. Oh, never do that. I know she didn't mean to. She wasn't thinking. I mean, goodness gracious, her dad just died. What do you do? And she was trying to keep my mom calm. It was a very, very, very hard situation. So what happened after that? So I went up there the next day, and I went to the apartment, saw my mother, saw my siblings, totally a blur. And Dan drove up at some point, my brother from Albuquerque, and we talked, and he said, yeah, I don't think Mom should live alone. And I agreed. She's 89, has dementia, and other very serious problems, so she can't be on her own. So he and his wife Jane came up, and then Wednesday is a total blur. All I remember is I came back at some point, either that day or the next day, and Sam and I went on. We went to a thrift store and other stores because he had no appropriate attire. And see, one thing I had forgotten is that when Darren, Randy, and I were visiting my dad, he told us, I may have said this and I've totally forgotten, that he didn't want to be resuscitated. In fact, I did say this. And he wanted his ashes to be cremated in 3 ways, and one of them was Fort Logan. I know I said that. So I looked up the Fort Logan etiquette, and I was like, we do not have appropriate clothes. I mean, that was something I was putting off because I know our parents are elderly. Figured it would be my husband's dad because he has Parkinson's. So we rushed off and we found him a suit at the Ark. and a white shirt at like Burlington, some shoes. We did all that in one day. I got myself equipped because I didn't even have anything. Thankfully, Amazon came to the rescue. And then I went up on Tuesday and I stayed with my mother so that my sister Diana could stay with her. Oh, I remember we had a meeting we went to my parents' old property called the ranch, and all of us siblings decided what to do. And we decided that in order for all family to come, we would make the services the next Thursday because we had family coming from all over. So we all planned that, and I did the program. Like I said, I came up Tuesday, and we would go out to lunch or dinner. Oh gosh, it's such a whirlwind, and it was really difficult with my mother. Very difficult. And then on Wednesday, she wanted to go shopping, so I took her shopping. We had lunch. That was a nice lunch. And then on Thursday came the service, and the guys came up, Travis and Sam came up and stayed at the apartment Wednesday night. And then we went to the Fort Logan on Thursday morning, and it was very touching. 21 gun salute, bells ringing, folding the flag, taps. It was, wow, very, very heartbreaking. And then we went back to the ranch, and we had a family service there, or friends and family lunch. And then my siblings and I spread another third of his ashes out there, out at the ranch. And then that afternoon we had the service at their retirement home. Just really simple. I managed to pull the program together. That's what I did. And one of my nieces sang. We told stories. And one of the stories that came up over and over again was that my dad, he was a rescuer. He rescued so many of us. And I've been writing this book called Bigfoot Adventure, From Curiosity to Discovery, and the section where the story where he comes to rescue us in Kachara Mountain is in it. And now, you know, instead of getting that book ready for him to read, I'm doing it in memoriam. So I'm working on that, and that's going to be in the book. But he was my rock. He rescued me time and time again. I don't know how many times I've been broken down by the side of the road and called my dad, and he was there. So it was very traumatic, and I just was not expecting it this soon.
Come out here.
You know, you think you have time with somebody, and you don't. Life is fragile, and death is a monster that I had to face head on. And the thing is that I have to trust that he's in the arms of Jesus. I prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed for him.
Come back here.
The dog, so wayward. But just trusting that he's in the arms of Jesus. And so one of the things I wanted to do was play some songs for him. So at the end of this expedition, or this video, there's a video of me singing some songs that I wanted to sing for him. Couldn't do that at the service. It wasn't really the right place. So anyway, that's pretty much the story. Oh, and then I forgot. Another part of this is I lost my mom in a way, because right after and before she was packed up, her apartment was completely packed up, things given away, family took some things, and on Saturday it was all gone, and we said goodbye on Saturday night at another dinner at the ranch, and she went to Albuquerque. So she's in Albuquerque. I imagine it's going to be a tough adjustment. I've only talked to her once. So that is the monster that I faced. But I know that God is so powerful and mighty that he can take those ashes that were my dad and he can bring them back together at the resurrection. And he is so powerful and mighty and loving. He loved my dad more than I loved him, and he knows, and he had a plan, and I have to trust that. So that's my story. Unfortunately, I wish I had a better story, but this is the first time that we've been able to get on the woods, and because of losing a lot of work, we're behind. It's been tough. Our church has really, really helped us a lot. So they've been amazing and wonderful. As our pastor shared Sunday from Romans, you need to rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. Well, I could tell you the people at our church really have taken that to heart, and they have come alongside me and given me so much comfort, because the Bible says those who are mourn will be comforted. So we're just trusting that the ashes will be turned into beauty, our mourning will be turned into dancing. So that's my story out here in the woods, a story about a monster that on this side on earth cannot be defeated, but Jesus defeated it by dying on the cross, and he beat death, and he resurrected, and one day we will all be resurrected, and that is my hope, that someday I'll see my dad again. Okay, so we don't want to be near that poopy dog, and what do we want to do from here? Well, we're going to see what we do from here. So we decided just to go up the trail, or wash out, or whatever you call it, because I don't have the greatest shoes on, and to go down there in these shoes, no thanks. I just have these sandals on. So we're going to go up, and I laughed. The dog was lying down, and I said, well, the dog is pooped, ha ha. So we're just going to go up. It's about 4 o'clock. We're probably just gonna go back to the camper and go home and hope for the best for what happens the rest of the week. Trackway, 1, 2, 3. Let's see, 5. Interesting. Oh, there's some smaller critters too. Hush.
Something went down.
Something did. So we're back. We got back a little while ago. There you see the camper. Sam just pulled straight in. They'll take care of the dumping later. But the dog is going crazy downstairs. We may have to just go ahead and give him a bath. But anyway, I just wanted to end by saying that my dad left a legacy of many things. Some of it was he was an outdoorsman, he was an avid camper, and I grew up doing that. And I love camping. That's why I bought this Red Dale camper. because we had a Red Dale camper when I was growing up. And he is the reason why we can be entrepreneurs for so many reasons. Yeah, he definitely left a legacy, and he's left a big hole in my heart that he's gone, and so soon in my mind. But I just, like I said, have to trust that he's with Jesus and that I'll see him again. So, we're debating whether or not to wash the dog and get back into our lives here. I'm in a lot of pain. I managed to wreck my back and my knee during all this turmoil, so I have a lot of work to do. Alright, so thank you for watching. This is Scotch Mom. Have a Scotch-tastic day. So now I'm going to sing a couple of songs that my dad liked. I wanted to do this when we had the service, but the family felt like it was too much, and I guess they were right. But I grew up singing with my sister, who taught me to sing and play the guitar, and that's a huge memory of mine. And my dad loved singing, and so we were always singing rounds and other songs, especially as we traveled. We didn't have cell phones and iPads and DVD players in a car and all that. I'm so glad. So, and then we would sing songs around the campfire. And so, of course, my dad was from Wyoming, so Home on the Range was one of his favorite songs. And this is one of the ones I wanted to sing because I wanted to honor my dad with the talents that God gave me. And even though my voice right now is scratchy, and of course I'm camping, and so I don't guarantee that it's going to be perfect, but that's not the point. So here we go. Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. Home, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day, where the air is so pure and the zephyrs are free, the breeze is so balmy and light that I would not exchange my home on the range for all of the cities so bright. Home, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. How often at night, when the heavens are bright with the light from the glittering stars, have I stood there amazed and asked as I gazed if their glory exceeded of us. Home, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. So, Dad, I sing that to you, and I hope that you can hear that from heaven. I know it wasn't perfect, but it was from my heart. And now I want to sing another song. Another thing growing up is that we grew up as Sound of Music was one of our favorite movies. And so my dad always liked the song Edelweiss, so I'll play that. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every morning you greet me, small and white, clean and bright, you look happy to meet me, blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow, bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, you bless my homeland forever. Now, the last song I'm going to sing is Amazing Grace. My dad did really love this song. Actually, my great something uncle was John Newton and Isaac Newton. So John Newton wrote Amazing Grace, and that is quite the story. Be sure to look that up if you don't know it. But my dad liked this song, and being from kind of Scottish heritage, that makes a lot of sense too. And this was the last song that we sung at a service. My sister-in-law Jane played the piano, and my nephew Tom sang it. It was beautiful, and so I'm glad they did that. And when it came down to it, I couldn't even sing at all during the service. So again, I sing this to you, Dad, and to the Lord, who I am trusting that He and my dad are together. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. Was blind, but now I see. And I can't see in the dark. So, and I do just pray that my father has been found by Jesus. So, oops. That's what I wanted to do for my dad, and I just hope that somehow he can hear that.